Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, stop, because we have today's Confessions of a Global Changemaker show. You are going to be most likely with our guest today in fits of laughter. You're going to hear a story that is quite tragic, but he tells it in such a way that it's freaking hilarious. But there's some serious messages behind this amazing soft-hearted, big, gorgeous teddy bear that you are meeting today, Mr. Karl Smith.
Hello.
Karl, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello. It seems like ages since I've last seen you, Sammy.
It does. And how can that be? I do actually miss you. We've just spent the weekend together delivering our very last live Brand Builders weekend for a while. I think we've all gone into self-isolation now, but we made the most of our time together. Really, creating global expansion. And where else would we have been than to do that together?
I know. It was great fun. It was really good fun, actually. I took a lot from the course, and I know a lot about what I'm doing already because of years and years of, we're going to talk about that in a moment, about years and years of just cocking things up, but I've managed to get myself into a situation now. But I did still learn. I learned a lot, especially on that last bit, the 2 minutes thing as well, and crushing it that way. So yeah, it was really good fun. And really, anyone who's watching this, if you've never been on anything with Sammy before, please do it. And I work outside her profession, so I would strongly recommend you do it. But we had a great weekend. Yeah, all good. Nothing came wrong.
No one coughing.
No.
Who have we got? We've got Chrissy. Hi, Christine. Well, what's amazing is that you can go through so much, and there's a global crisis right now, and what I'm hearing is so many people are like, oh, for goodness sake, I'm so fed up with this whole corona thing already, get over it already. But the reality is it's still happening. We're at the beginning of it in most of the UK right now. And there is no better time than now to get our noodles around how you continue consistently in a way that is with love and compassion, but is also going to build your brand, not kill it, which is what's happening to so many business owners right now. Simon says, yeah, cocking it up. Me too. Well, I hope, guys and girls, that you're okay. Well, of course you're okay with swearing. You're following me. This guy loves the F-bomb as much as I do. So
not once during this will I fucking swear.
Okay, that's fucking awesome. As Simon says, that's very true. So, Karl, let's kick off with your story, because I don't think I've known anybody. I know one person, Amanda Froelich. She was run over. I think she's the only person that I've ever met that was run over. She had both her legs broken. And she's now our ambassador for the Brand Builders Club. She does all kinds of stuff, and she's in the industry of activity. So that was a pretty hard thing. It almost killed her business. And you were almost killed, and your business almost killed when you were run over, not once, but twice. I don't think I've ever met anyone that's been run over twice.
Do you want a top secret?
How do you get past that?
Do you want a top secret? I've actually been run over 3 times in my life. Once in Kosovo. Once in Kosovo in 1999, when we were going over the border down the Kachanik defile, I stepped in front of a tractor and got hit by the back wheel. And the other 2 times was on the same event where I got reversed over and drove over. But I'll come to that in a moment.
Okay. I think you've topped that there, and I really pray that I haven't met anybody that's been run over more times than that. Karl, what happened? For you to be run over not once but twice in the same event, that's pretty significant.
So I like telling the story that changed my life. The one that really, the worst day of my life became the best day of my life. And anyone out there struggling at the moment, I want you to take something from this. That's what I really want you to do. And when I'm traveling the world doing what I'm doing. So, young lad from Great Yarmouth, I joined I wanted to get out of that seaside town. I went and joined the army, spent 12 years in the army. I went to all the places that your holiday destination won't send you to. I've been to all the Iraqs, the Kosovos, the Bosnias, Northern Irelands, the Afghans. I don't know. I've been all over. I left with more medals and metal than I ever knew. But so I did 12 years and I'd had enough of it. I really had enough of the army. I loved it. I loved all my friends. I'm still very good friends with them now. Anyone who's ever served knows what I mean by that. But I left the army on a Friday, and with a I positioned myself really well. I joined the police. I joined the police, carried out my jobs there, and then what I did then is I got into firearms. I went into firearms, then moved up to counter-terrorism firearms, and then I moved into a national firearms instructor's role where I taught people how to use firearms, how to do the tactics and all that type of stuff, and then moved myself into counter-terrorism that way. And I was enjoying my life. I really was. And I'll be brutally honest. I was not I was not one of these people that I didn't like giving tickets. I didn't like nicking people. I was ex-military, for crying out loud. I was the naughtiest boy on the planet, you know. Not that shows.
And what's changed?
But I was more like, you know, I'd rather get involved and help people out, and, you know, throw people in the back of the car and take them home, and, you know, get rid of them. And I loved my job for that. I really did. And I used to love helping people as well. But on August 4th, 2006, I'd finished duty. I'd just gone home. I was in my blacks. I'd just finished doing gun work that day. Went home, parked my car up, went indoors, saw my little boy, went in, just chatting away, not doing much. Next minute, it was an almighty crash out the front, and I went, right, what's going on here? This is quite abnormal. So I went out the front, and there was a car, Mitsubishi Colt, that was up at a 45-degree angle that had hit the next door neighbours, gone through the fence, and then hit our front of our house. So I went round the front thinking it was some old codger that had bloody lost control of the car. But when I got round to the driver's side, because I'm still in police mode, I've got there's a young pup in the front. There's a young lad. And what happened was that I put my hand in the door, people said, why did you do that? You do these things at the time. I grabbed hold of the seatbelt, wrapped it around my hand, and then tried my best to get him out of the car as I could, because I could smell the alcohol on him. So I was trying to get him out, and he was trying to escape, and I'm hitting him. He's trying to drive faster. And as I punch him, it's like some scene out of an Acme movie, you know, like Wile E. Coyote thing. As I'm punching him, he's going faster and faster with the wheels. Eventually, the brick wall collapses. I get trapped under the car. I was dragged about 90 to 100 yards backwards. Like I told you at the weekend, the reason they know that is because they found my pants, my trousers, my shoes, everything up there. Then he realised he was in a cul-de-sac. He then decided to come back. So he did the honest thing that night and took me back home underneath the back of a Mitsubishi Colt car. So he hit me and then dragged me back. And I was left.
By this point, you are literally left naked outside of your house, run over twice.
Yeah. I can't do much because
you couldn't write that.
I know. My right leg's been rotated twice, tibia, fibia, calcaneal, and everything, Achilles up through my back of my calf. Kneecap was pointing out the wrong way. My pelvis was not crushed, but it had been flexed. Oh, that was horrible. That was horrible, that bit, because you can't even go for a crap privately. I'm telling you now, you're like that. You have to have people hold you as you do it. Anyway, that's a different story. Lumbar region was damaged, 2 and 3 up here, fractured skull, fractured cheekbone. Both my forearms were done as well. So yeah, and I don't drink responsibly, folks, but they reckon the thing that saved me that night is because I'd walked in from work, and what I'd done is I'd grabbed a beer, and I don't normally drink, and I didn't have duty the next day, so I don't drink before. I don't drink when I'm on duty. So I'd come in the door and I'd walked in and gone, lovely jubbly, and got duty. So I just sat there and just chilled out. And what happened was they think that the alcohol may have relaxed me enough to be able to protect me and do it. So I didn't go rigid. So long story short is I had CBT. So anyway, I was in hospital for a while. I came out, and then what happened next was they put me on pregabalin, tramadol. Anyone's ever had tramadol before, you'll know what I mean by this. Tramadol is horrendous, and they put me on tramadol as a pain suppressant. But what it did do is it suppressed not only the pain, but the mental torture that was then about to start to come out. So as I started to wean myself off, because I'd come out of all my, both my legs were in plaster, my arms were in plaster. Honestly, it was like that. I couldn't do anything myself. It's horrendous. It's one of those points in life where you just have to love the people around you, and they just have to accept you. You know, it's horrid. Anyway, so I came off the tramadol, but as I started to do it, it's then the physical pain started to reduce, but then the mental torture then started. And that was what was then going to become post-traumatic stress, as we know it's PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder in today's world. And so that started happening. So I started taking drugs. I started doing, as in from the doctor, I was getting more tramadol, trying to stop the naughty noise, drinking more Jack Daniels. Me and Jack became really good friends. And and then one night I decided that enough was enough. I was destroying my family. Everything was going to pan. It was just horrid. It was just fucking horrid. So I decided to drive to the Orwell Bridge after drinking and consuming a bottle of Jack Daniels, which I do not condone, or I still feel gutted about that to this day, that I did that. And I'm lucky that I didn't do any damage to anyone else. And I decided to throw myself over the parapet. But the biggest thing is that when I threw myself over the parapet, my jacket, it got caught on a...
You actually did it?
Yeah,
you actually did it?
Yeah, because the way you see me now is like I was, but then when I was going for a bad patch, I was just like, didn't give a shit. I went showering, I went drinking, I went doing anything, you know, typical depression, anxiety, that type of ilk, you know, not giving a shit, not doing anything about yourself. And the long story short is that I went to the Orwell Bridge in Ipswich, if anyone knows that, and I tried lobbing myself over that, but my jacket got caught. Anyway.
Hell.
So I couldn't jump.
I didn't know you actually did it. I mean, I didn't know about this particular part of your story.
When some of the guys, and I won't mention their names, some of the guys mentioned it this weekend. I just thought, no, you know, that's not my point. But yeah, that's what happened. But two hands came over the top, and somebody went, "Fuck, it's Karl," like that, and then it just went. They just took me away. And to this day, nobody knew how I'd got to the bridge. So, you know, at the end of the day, I probably, you know, I'd have been happier getting nicked on the way to the bridge, but I didn't. I just got taken away. They looked after me and then realised I was in a shit. Then the police force I was with at the time put things in place. They put CBT and cognitive behavioural therapy in place. Look, guys, I'm not going to be rude here, and I, you know, I'm sure there's great professionals out there. This is a personal opinion, so please. That's why we came up with my little name this weekend of the Disruptive.
We did. You're already branded. If you look at his name underneath, his video is already there.
Yeah, and the thing is that I went to CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, or cognitive behavioural torture, as sometimes people call it. That made it worse. Yeah. Counselling, that didn't do anything. That just tipped it. It just really just didn't do anything. I mean, one of the questions during my counselling was, and honestly, counsellors, it's not a backing bash at you, is that one of the questions is, did you find it painful being run over? And I went, what the fuck do you think? And she just went, so you're angry? And I went, I'm not angry at the drink driver. I'm angry at you for what you've just done. I'm fucking angry here because you have just asked me, does it hurt being run over? Of course it fucking hurts. Anyway, so CBT and then counselling. And then I just thought my life was over, really. And long story short, is a fellow police officer who did hypnosis came up and said, here, Karl, come here. And I'm from Great Yarmouth, and anyone knows Great Yarmouth, seaside holiday resort. And we used to have a guy called Ken Webster. He's up in Blackpool now. He used to do stage shows. And my only reference to hypnosis was watching Ken make people shit square eggs on a stage in Great Yarmouth. Do you know what I mean?
Entertainment.
Yeah, that was all they had. So I was going, nah, I'm not doing it. For weeks, he said, look, Karl, let me just educate you. And I knew that they'd sent him on a mission to help me. The job had sent him to say, look, we need to sort him out. Yeah, and I just went, all right. And then he did this session with me, and I felt like my whole nervous system, like somebody got a plug and just gone like that, bang, and it just came out like Mount Vesuvius. And I cried for about 8 hours. And I'm from very alpha male jobs. I'm from very, very alpha male jobs, you know, 12 years army, 12 years counterterrorism firearms. I'd come from a very alpha background. The point is that we don't do this because obviously, you know, I was there for the Omar bomb in 1998. And just a quick one, the Army's method of dealing with the Omar bomb in 1998 was giving us a crate of Stella. That was how they dealt with it. So, you know, true upper lip, old boy, you don't cry. And I just cried. I couldn't stop. Long story short is I then found that hypnosis had done what I'd been looking for years and years and years. But then it became a drug. Then it became, I need to know more. 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 Until eventually, what happened is that I just ended up, while I was still serving in the police and I was on my recovery, and I'd come out at the back end of post-trauma, because I no longer have post-trauma. Anyone who thinks that you have post-trauma life, you don't. I got rid of post-trauma and then developed it into a career, and I slowly did it. And I worked with police charities. I've worked on every single firearms incident since Jean-Charles de Mendes with a police charity called the PFOA, Police Firearms Officers Association. I helped them out, not with hypnosis, I'd like to point. So, and then I did that, and then I learned my craft until eventually I got myself into a position where I got myself into an 18-month position where I just went, right, I'm leaving in 18 months. I'm leaving and leaving in 18 months. That is it. So I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. It's like what we heard this morning about the career escape artist.
Yes.
So yeah, so at the end of the day, I set my target and I was 3 weeks off of that, and I left the police, and then I just got on with my career. And now I've taught in, I think I wrote in the bio, but I think I got it wrong. I think it's 30 countries now. 30 countries I've taught in. I've taught for LAPD, Las Vegas Police Department, Melbourne. I've worked for every single police force in the United Kingdom, working with their officers and helping supporting them out. I've worked in Melbourne, working with police officers there, New Zealand, Hong Kong. I can't remember now. I've been on TV doing it. I've worked in the background. I was in Secrets of the Brain. And I don't know, really. I've just done so much. I can't even get it into this. We'd have to spend 2 days doing this, I think. But the point being is that August the 4th is my celebration day now.
Right.
I celebrate it. I celebrate August the 4th now. I used to go, oh, God, August the 4th. Now, I mean, Jesus, I never even thought that.
It's the day you were born.
Yeah, and that was the thing. That was the beautiful thing about it.
Or the day you realised why you were born.
Yeah, that's right. And the key thing is that August the 4th for me is my boom day. Every minute, every 6 minutes past 6. Cheers, thank you. You know, even like the book, my first ever book. This is true for people who believe in the universe and all this lot. I launched my book on the 18th of August 4 years ago. There's no D in PTSD. As in a reframe on post-trauma. There's no disorder in post-trauma. So there is no D in PTSD. I received the box. I walked out of my pub. This is genuine. There was people there that were with me. Walked into the local pub, sat down, minding my own business, chatting away to this bloke behind the bar. And the bloke who run me over, his sister walked in the pub.
No.
Yeah, on the very day. On that very day that I received the first box of my books. And I said, hang on a minute. I scampered back to the office, signed it. And the first ever copy went to the wanker. I mean, the great person who
changed your life.
That was a defining moment for me that I went, right place, right time. Let's do this. And that's where I went. As soon as my book was released, I knew that moment then. And that's a true story.
It had been delivered to you. That had been given to you on a plate.
Yeah. So now I get to travel the world doing it. And I predominantly just work with hypnosis, working with hypnosis and other techniques really to help people out. But yeah, I get to do it around the world. I'm really, I always say lucky, but lucky's, you have to make your own luck, don't you? So it's a case
you do create your own luck.
That's
and Karl, like you've turned this into well, you are turning this into an empire now. I mean, literally, you've got how many hypnotists? I mean, you've got like you accredit people. You've got all kinds of things. You've got franchise. You've got you speak all over the world. They speak all over the world. Like, tell us about your business now, because this has really been birthed as a result of this one life-changing incident. I mean, talk about what do they call it? Dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you had several of those, which all created this amazing growth opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. So I initially started off, if I just give you the chain of events, what happened was I was Karl Smith Hypnotherapy, which is now going to change because of this week.
Yes.
Anyway,
you're a brand builder now.
I am not one of those hypnotherapists. Anyway, so I am quite disruptive because of my background. I don't mean to be rude. That's why I'm always saying to people, I want to be able to get people to think outside what they're doing. So I started as Karl Smith Hypnotherapy. Now they're disruptive. Anyway, so I started as that, and then I became proficient, and then I started working overseas and started working with pop stars and actors in Hollywood. I got that by accident. Anyway, so I started that. And then I started teaching it. And then I got the UK Hypnosis Academy. So now I have the UK Hypnosis Academy, where I have 23 people within that franchise that now deliver my curriculum. I'm a qualified teacher as well. So I teach my guys my curriculum. They go out and deliver my curriculum. And then what happens is that they pay me a yearly franchise fee, then a course fee on the amount of students that they have on that as well. So we've got that. And the development from that is because hypnosis can be still this eerie little word that people use. And to be quite honest, it's, my job is to educate people what hypnosis is. So what I've done in the past 4 months is change tack slightly. So I've still got Karl Smith Hypnotherapy, and I've still got the UK Hypnosis Academy, which is going strong. It's getting stronger, all the time. I made those cuts today, by the way, the things that I said yesterday.
Okay.
And then I've just launched the mental welfare coach as well, which is the corporate side, which is where we go into businesses, schools, universities, and other places, and we have people that are trained by, and I have two GPs that train my other franchisees up. This other group of people that now go into corporates and stuff like that. So yeah, so it's gone.
Sorry, did you say that's the mental welfare?
Welfare coach, mental welfare coach. Mental welfare coach.
I can't even say it. Put my teeth back in. There you go. I can spell better than I can speak.
That's it. Mental welfare coach. So yeah, that's it. It's the part of Norfolk boy. That's I say welfare. See, because I'm from Norfolk. Anyway, so the thing is that yeah. So what's happened is I had this small business that was generated just one-to-one clients, which then grew and grew and grew to me then speaking on national TV and doing working with celebrities. I mean, we mentioned it the weekend, and I don't think you'll mind me saying it, people like Boy George and people that he knows and all that type of stuff. I've done all that. I've worked on TV programs that he's involved in. I can't mention them ones, but anyway, all that type of stuff. But then it grew and then it grew and then it grew up to what now is the mental welfare coach, which because I know so much about the psychology, I know so much about all the aspects of what I do, neuroscience and all that, that's that bit over there. So I've got me now, the disruptive hypnotist, not Karl Smith Hypnotherapy. It's still there, but it's going to change. But then it developed into me teaching and training other hypnotists to become hypnotherapists, and then it's changed into a global mental welfare coach. So that's where it grew, and it just keeps on growing. And like I said at the weekend, I've only got 3 plates to wobble, but within that I've got 30 plates wobbling in each.
Yeah. So Karl, like, what would you say is, you've learned a lot, you've been there, you've done it. I mean, goodness, you've traveled the world, you've done all of those things already. What would you say is, the biggest issue? I know that you're dealing with PTSD, but what would you say is the biggest underlying issue that is causing business owners to fail right now?
At the moment, I would say not positioning themselves, not being different, not being different to the pack. The reason that I'm disruptive is because I've got no qualms. If anyone goes to my YouTube channel, I will get airy fairy hypnosis and hypnotherapy techniques and blow the doors off of it. I'm a very direct person. So I know. I use the C-bomb, and some people are like, oh my God, he doesn't use the C-bomb, does he? Yes, I do. If the client uses the C-bomb, I'll use the C-bomb. But when I'm swearing and I'm doing stuff, what happens is that I act normal because I am a normal person. I don't play act. I'm like, yeah, just fucking get it done. I'll just do this, do that. And the key thing is that I've positioned myself as not the mainstream hypnotherapist training company. I am very, very, very different. When people are teaching, oh, you've got to do it over 10 months, 12 months. I'm saying, no, you could teach a chimpanzee in a week how to do this. And I show people, and I have people across the globe that do that. So positioning yourself is key. The other thing as well is outsourcing. And this is one thing that I had from nearly collapse.
We talked about that this weekend.
Yeah, and last year, even now I still do it. And I'm sure Sammy, you sometimes do it as well, where you're like wobbling too many plates and get that over there. But sometimes if I do it myself, then I know it's done. But I've got a cracking team, honestly. I've got a cracking team, and sometimes when jobs come in, I just quickly do them myself. But outsourcing, very much being a leader. I had to learn from being a soldier and a PC that was being given orders to the managing director to giving the orders. So that was one key thing as well. Delegation. And like you mentioned yesterday, making sure you've got the right people in the right places. Within my team, I've got me, who's the creative carnage, for want of a better word. I'm the one who goes, right, we're going to do this.
I think my team would call me exactly the same thing. Actually, that's probably my same name within within the organisation.
I should be the carnage. The carnage coach is what I should be. So it's like I create the carnage, and I'm like, right, we're going to do this, going to do that. Andy Latto, who used to be my chief superintendent when he was in the police, now joined me to do this. He gets the curriculum, and because we're all qualified trainers in firearms and national, curriculums and stuff like that. We understand curriculums, assessments. He goes, right, tell me what we need to do that and what we do there, and then he puts the logistics behind it. And then we've got Angelo, who's another one, who's the one who goes, but have we thought about that? And he's the most annoying bastard on the planet.
A lord or a mechanic, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so we've got that in place, because us three there, I come up with it, Andy puts a structure around it, and Angelo's the one who tests it, goes, hang on a minute, you haven't thought about this, you haven't thought about that. So and
you actually need that. And what I'm hearing is, for solopreneurs who are literally flying on their own, it's important that you do have even a sounding board where you can also have those personalities. And I think, too often we try and attract other people like us that make us feel good about ourselves when we build a team. And certainly I've learned that even though that person who's detailed and totally focused on, all the little things, and of course as creators, you're in your creative energy, you're up here, you're like, for God's sake, stop cutting stop like weighing my balloon down with your lead bags, right? But you need to have that person. You absolutely need to have that person on your sounding board so that they can say those things. Otherwise, you're just going to be up in the clouds and you'll be like, why am I making money? What's going on?
Yeah, if Angelo, I probably invited Angelo to come to this group earlier. I sent it out to all my crew earlier. So if you want, he'll know. He's me and him are chalk and cheese. I love him to bits. We're just chalk and fucking cheese. I'm like, right, let's do it now. Get the Facebook out. Let's do that. And he's like, calm the fuck down. Can we do that? I'm like, no, let's just do it. And he's going,
come back here.
But that's that little thing that just pulls me back and just stops me from doing it. So I've got that. Plus, I've got the trainers as well within the UK Hypnosis Academy. And they're brilliant. In the mental welfare coach, we've got the doctors that do that for us. So they're the ones who so the reason that the mental welfare coach has got the two doctors is because they both say, Karl, you're amazing. You change lives. I get rid of post-trauma in 1 or 2 sessions. That's what I'm known for. But the thing is that they go, we can't put you in front of the NHS. You can't tell all these people to go fuck themselves. You can't do it. So so I have those. I've delegated. I've got people over there that are doing that. That hasn't even got my name on it. It's just but they're over there, and that's working on its own over there with the structure around those, with curriculums, assessments, in the criteria. So they're over there doing that. So I have nothing to do with it. So I can.
I love Shamna's question here. Is outsourcing the mistake or the solution? I think it's absolutely the solution, Shamna, but it can be a mistake, especially if you go into it as I did. Back in the day when I went on an internet marketing course, I came back and I was like, right, outsourcing. And I went on this like aggressive mission to outsource and outsource and outsource. And of course, when I left the company and went over to France, then I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a company. I didn't have team anymore. It was just me. So when I launched How to Build a Brand, I was like, right, outsourcing. And I outsourced absolutely everything. And I can tell you that I made some serious mistakes, and I burned through a lot of money very quickly, not knowing what I was doing. In fact, I was talking to Jeff Alexander this morning about how in the Brand Builders Club, either this week or next week, we are going to deliver a session on outsourcing. So Karl, maybe you can join us to give our brand builders a live session on how to do it right first time, because you can walk into a minefield or you can walk into I knew that was coming. Brilliant. Right. This is how I do it. So let's do something on that. I think it's important because we've got so much knowledge that people would benefit from in that area.
Yeah. And I think you have to, because it's like today, I don't want to say this wrong. It was Rent My Mum, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. That was Grant that said that. I've never heard of rentmymum.com. I imagine my husband sat over the edge there. He's going to be like, rentmymum.com. Never heard of it, but what a great business.
Don't spell it wrong, because you get the police knocking on your door. The thing is that the key thing is that, that like that this weekend, I never knew about that. And it's a brilliant idea. Whoever came up with that.
Such a good idea.
I was on there last night, Rent My Mum, but little things like that, we are outsourcing stuff is so important. I was there today, like we were talking about Infusionsoft or Confusionsoft. We were talking about Infusionsoft. I got the wrong person to do my Infusionsoft for me. Yeah. I tried doing it myself. Then I got somebody who I wasn't paying enough money. So if you pay peanuts, you're always going to get it, aren't you? And the thing is that I did that, and then that made a complete balls of it. And I just lost faith in it. And then I thought, wait a minute, everybody's using it. All the leads are using it. Come off a MailChimp, you idiot. Do you know what I mean? But little things like that, you've got to outsource. You've got to get people to do it. It's like bookkeeping. We had this discussion. We're not bookkeepers. Me and you are not fucking bookkeepers.
No, not meant to be. Wasn't born for that.
I'm like that. I'm like that with receipts now. Fucking what? But yeah, I'm like that. I hate them. But that's why I need to outsource and bring my bookkeeper in and have somebody in the office. Menial tasks in the office. I employ people in the office now to come in and deal with the certificates, you know, make sure all the books are in the right order, this, that, and the other, make sure this, that, and the other's done. And that's right, you know, I do that. And I've got Andy that does his job, Angelo who does his job, my trainers do their jobs, then they feed back to me. So yeah, that's always going.
What did you do in the beginning? I mean, this is the thing, right? You know, because it's so impressive what you've built and where you've gone and what you've done. And I know that there are going to be people watching this going, but what about me? I'm not at that stage yet where I can afford to bring those people and have them in my business. So obviously outsourcing is the solution. But what are some of the other tips that you would, or strategies, success strategies that you would say, you know, you're on your own, you're building your business, you're not at a stage, especially there's a lot of people now going to be setting up a business for the first time because there is no business for them anymore. They might be setting up something new, and maybe you watching this now, you're taking a totally different direction. Maybe you've already got a business, but you're taking a different direction. Or when we were at EMC Live, I asked the question, how many of you have been building a business for a while, but you're feeling the calling to go in a different direction? Well, haven't you just been given like 3 months to change your entire fucking business around and do what you were actually born to do now? Right? We've been given that choice.
I think there's two things that I'd like to say. One, always reinvest back in your business. I started, if you go to my YouTube channel, you see some of the, I discussed this yesterday. Some of my first ever videos. I mean, this was very impromptu today. I'm in a spare room. But the thing is that lighting and video, you know, just if initially, if you just get yourself your iPhone, your Android phone, or whatever you've got, and you set it up properly and you have a nice lighting in there, you can get your message across. That's one thing as well. You've got to get your message out there. You can have the best product in the world, but if you don't tell anyone, you're fucked. You might as well, if you don't tell anyone, you're fucked. Most of my business comes from YouTube, and that leads on to fear. Get over yourself, because I'll tell you now, I'm not scared in front of getting in front of cameras. But like we were discussing this weekend, when I'm talking to the camera, I now talk to people directly through their screen, and that's why I talk. But years ago, I'd have been like, "Oh fuck, it's a camera. Oh fuck, it's a camera. If I don't look at the camera's not there." Fail in front of your social media. Fail. Keep failing until you learn. Edison did the same thing. I'm one of those people that continuously just kept fucking up until eventually I got it. And what I did is I invested. And every time I invested, I bought better gear, which then meant my confidence built. Camera, my confidence, my self-belief, knowing that I can do this, the way that I do my videos as well. Being a qualified teacher helps me to be able to break down certain things and make complicated simple. That's what I love. That I'm a fucking soldier, for crying out loud, an ex-soldier. To be simple. So the thing is that I love doing that, and so you start to build your confidence. So reinvestment in yourself. You know, if you're in a career at the present moment in time, start digging your tunnel now. If you're in a career that you hate and you want to get out, start digging your tunnel now. Use the wages that you've got now to invest in good cameras, good mics, good tripods, and a good back screen. You know, I mean, this is a paint a bloody wall today. Normally I'd be in the studio, but I'm not at home. But reinvest in yourself. Dig your tunnel now. And I dug that tunnel.
I love that. I love that sentence. Start digging your tunnel now. That's brilliant.
You've got to start digging it now, because when I was in the police, I fucking hated the police. It was not my heart. My drive wasn't in it. I loved it. And they put me in an office job. Can you imagine me being in an office? Oh my God, I was driving mad. I was looking after tasers. I was like that. Oh yes. I was looking after the like that. Oh yeah, you just got to keep accounting them. It's the worst fucking job in the world. You can't give me an accountant's job in a fucking thing. Anyway, so I was looking after 1,800 tasers at one point. But the key thing is that you've just got to keep reinventing yourself and digging that tunnel. Go back to that. Go back to tunnel. I said to myself, you're going, son. 18 months time, you're going. You're not staying here. It's making you fucking miserable. It's mental health. putting on weight, you fat bastard, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're a miserable arsehole to your missus as well. And my kids won't see me as well. The thing is that what I did is I went 18 months. Now, like we were talking about at EMC the other day with what was his name?
Matt Wilson?
No, the guy from Dubai. The guy from Dubai.
Spencer Lodge.
Spencer Lodge. He came up with a crowd. I mean, I was working like this anyway. Don't give yourself an 18-month plan, but then cut that down into months, but never look further than the next 90 days. Always plan.
No, I'm the same.
Keep on that 90 days. Have the goal in the distance, but work on your strategy over that 90 days to build to that bigger picture. So chunking it down. And that did it. So I was able to be in a position of just go, oh, I won't say what I did on the day that I gave my card in. I think I told you. There you go. There's my card.
There you go, darling. See you later.
That wasn't fucking my idea.
It's a soft, fluffy cover.
So the key thing is that I prepared myself, so I was able to use the money that I was gaining while I was in the place, that little bit of money I could do, to reinvest myself. Some of you may not be in that position, so I appreciate that, but still have the goal to work at 90 days. If you haven't, all my business comes from YouTube. All my business comes from YouTube, and I'm still laxy days. I mean, I bang out more videos than anybody within our community, within my realm, on mental health and hypnosis, and I think it's 150 videos on there now, but I'm still not getting them out on time, which is something I need to get hold of. You know, I'm sporadic. I just go, oh, I've just done a lesson, I'll just bang a load out, and then I'll do one a week. So I need to get on that. So the consistency. But the key thing is that build that tunnel now, but believe yourself, believe in yourself, believe in you and your product. If it's where your heart and your dreams and your life are, like mine, I live, breathe, eat shit this stuff. I really, really do. I live, breathe. I have nothing else.
You've picked your lane, totally.
Yeah, and if somebody said to me, Karl, if we cut you open on an autopsy, I bet there's a fucking swinging watch inside you. They'd be like that. That's what my life is. I live, breathe, eat it. And if that's where your drive is, your life is, wherever it is, set your plan now. Go, because life is not a fucking rehearsal. Life is not a rehearsal. Once you get used to that fact, and that this life is now, and whatever happens thereafter, it's not going to happen now. You've got to look after you in this life. So my advice is that live now and live with your dreams, because I never realized that the worst day of my life was going to become the best day of my life.
Look at what happened.
I know. Now I get them like that. La, 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 la. So the thing is that the key thing is that I would strongly recommend get over yourself and get out there and sell your message, give your message, educate people. That's what I would tell my lot. Hit the key that behind the success stories behind my hypnotist and hypnotherapist that I train is because I teach them this, what we're doing right now. Get out there and tell your product, educate your people that they're not going to be shitting square eggs, that they're not going to be clucking chickens. They're not going to be doing this. They're not. I can do that, but they're not going to be doing that. You know what I mean? But the key thing is that's not hypnosis. Well, it is hypnosis, but that's for that over there, and this is for over here. So you have to educate.
This is about getting a serious result. Now, Karl, just because I'm conscious of keeping on track, because oh my god, like I can listen to you all day. I've just spent the whole weekend with you. We actually only ever, like, I feel like I've known you my entire life, maybe even more lifetimes than this. We've only actually known each other about 2 weeks. This is crazy. Like, we've had such a deep dive. It's just been so amazing. But we are here on a show called Confessions of a Global Changemaker. So we've talked about so much already, but I want to dig deeper, Karl. I want you to share with us a confession, something that, you know, in your business life, of all the things that you have done, what's the one thing where you would say, I fucking wish I'd never done it like that. I would never do it like that ever again. So that entrepreneurs watching this now can learn from that particular mistake. And we want something juicy, something you don't tell people very often.
You know, throw me in there. I'm racking my brain here. I'm like that. I'm going, don't do books because I fudged my bookkeeping. I did. I mean, I was like that. I was just going, here you go. There's that shit there. I think we discussed it over the weekend. I think that's such a broad, what wouldn't I do? I mean, there's so much. I've fucked up so much, honestly, to get myself to where I am. And I think you appreciate anyone who knows what I'm on about that. Yeah. I think not being fucked over. Educate yourself in all elements of your business, websites, social media, fucking presentations, all that type of stuff. So if somebody's talking to you, web designers, you web designers are they're the fucking worst. Oh, you can't have that widget on there. That'll cost you £9,000 No, it doesn't. It's a fucking plugin.
They charge you $2,000 to do that one change.
I think the key thing, I think the biggest fuck up for me was not knowing my business and not knowing the elements of the business, and then being taken for a ride, being stung thousands and thousands of pounds. And that's why I still have this thing about, no, I'm still going to hold on to it, because last time you burnt me, you little bastard. So this time when I got a website, this time with a new website for the academy, I've just spent a few grand on that, but I did my research on that. I made sure I had the right person who was with me, who was on my wavelength. You know, I worked with the right people. I didn't just go to the Philippines on freelancer and just go, oh, just build me an Infusionsoft. What I would say is make sure you learn the elements. Don't become an expert in it. Don't do that. Just learn the elements. So when somebody tries to do your legs, you can step in and go, oi, you're taking a piss. Same as web builders now. My last web builder was like, you're taking a piss, you're aligned shit, off you fucking go.
So there you go. There's your template for removing outsourcers from your business.
I fucking don't like it. There's a fucking delete button there. Fuck off. And that's exactly the way I operate, because people know I will give.
But to be fair, you can waste so much time being nice and trying to get shit done, and it doesn't work, and you only end up falling out anyway. So you just, you know, you don't maybe have to say it like that, but you can say it how it is. In a way that has a clean break.
We've just had a discussion in my group, and any of my trainers here will tell you now. This afternoon, just before I spoke to you this afternoon, is there's going to be fucking cuts, and they're all self-employed, and they're all on franchisees. If you don't pull your finger out your fucking rectum, guess what? You're off. Simple as.
Yeah.
For years and years and years, until this weekend with Sammy, I've been like, oh, don't want to fucking upset them. They're all paid a year license. It's cost me sometimes more to have these fuckers in my company than to not. So I sent out a message today. This is business, folks. You know me as a friend, and we are friends, but this is business, right? We will remain friends, whatever the decision is, all right? If I fuck you off, I fuck you off. If you stay, you're staying and you're working. Simple as. Yeah. And it's being decisive. Being decisive is another thing as well. Not pandering to fuckers as well. You know, oh, yeah, they'll copy this, this, and this. No, it ain't, buddy. And that's why knowing little bits about your business and doing that and being decisive. Decisive is another thing as well, because that's what I've had to learn. I've had to become slightly more aggressive with people, because this is my business. Your business is your business. Anyone tries to fuck your legs over, you're like, no, this is my baby.
Yeah.
You know, so don't do it. And that's the way I think you have to be decisive. Learn all the elements of your business, become decisive, and just watch out for the rat weasels out there, because there's tons of them.
There are. But I like what you said, because I believe in exactly the same thing. You know enough about what you're about to do, so that you can go in there intelligently and articulately to be able to know what it is that you need doing. Like if I walked into a car mechanic, I wouldn't have a clue. They'd be able to do whatever, right? So I would take someone with me who does know what they're doing. And so, you know, just get a bit clued up on what it is that you're actually doing. And then you'll know straight away, like, but you don't have to do it all yourself. I think, Karl, that'll be something that we talk about when we do a session on outsourcing. Our time has come to an end, my friend. Yes. Hannah says, thank you for making me laugh out loud. Shamna says, how does all your business come from YouTube? We don't have time to go into that now, but Karl, would you maybe come into the Brand Builders Club and do a sprint with us on how you make all your business from YouTube?
Yeah, of course we will. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. That would be awesome. And like, who's looking forward to seeing more of Karl? Like, not naked and being dragged down the street, but actually seeing more of him, like, more regularly.
I'm only wearing a shirt.
Oh, the imagination. So thank you, Karl, for taking the time to be with us today. I know how busy you are. So yeah,
after your weekend, after your weekend. I'm so glad I got the Disruptive Hypnotist, though. That's been playing me up since I met you. I was like, what am I going to call myself? What am I going to call myself? Then yesterday,
I kept Karl up for a long, long time when he first saw me on stage a few weeks ago, which is how we met. I was speaking at an event that Karl was attending, and I talked about fame name, and I rattled Karl's brain, and he came down to the event the next day and was like, "I've been tearing my hair out. I don't know what's going."
But I'd never thought of it before because I was always Karl Smith hypnotherapy, and I was just like, I'm not a fucking hypnotherapist. I'm not fucking.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I am against the grain, and I love that shit because I'd like to disprove myths and that Disruptive Hypnotist or hypnotist that we've got now. I mean, it hasn't gone live yet because it's only 48 hours old. So I've been
literally born yesterday morning.
Yeah, so Woon's doing the podcast. I've already spoken to him. He's already doing the podcast. The website's being
Oh, that's amazing. What a great name for a podcast as well. I bet Woon's very excited about that.
He is. Yeah, he is. I'm going to hypnotize him. So it only cost me £1 a month.
Okay, well, I'll leave that side of things to you. Absolutely love this, guys. Good to see you again, Sammy. Thank you so much. I'm not quite sure who you are because it just says Facebook user. So I'm sending you lots and lots of love.
Karl, link. They have to click on the link that says Facebook can use my name.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you have to give permission, and the link is with this video. So if you look in the description of this video, you can do that. But we go live at 5 every single day, 5 p.m. GMT. That is. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, make sure you put that in your diary because I bring awesome, amazing global change makers to you. People just like Karl, just like you, who have a voice and you have a message to get out to the world. So if I haven't interviewed you yet, do please reach out to me because I want to get you in the schedule. You've got a light that I want to shine so brightly because the people need it more than ever right now. So Karl, thank you so much for shining for yourself, for us, and for everyone today. How do they get hold of you if they want to find out more information?
If they go to UK Hypnosis Academy, UK Hypnosis Academy, that's the best way of getting hold of me. Or you can go to UK Hypnosis Academy.
Hypnosis Academy.
And there's
is that a .com or .co.uk?
Yeah, it's www.ukhypnosisacademy.com. You can ping me an email off the website or go to the little search bar at the bottom and it says send a message. I'm always there to help people. I love helping people. That's one of my biggest goals.
You do. It's literally when I met Karl, he was at Matt Wilson's event, EMC Live in Brighton, I think we were, weren't we? And like Karl wasn't literally, he was there to learn for his own business. But every time I saw Karl, he was with somebody else. He'd like taking somebody else out to do hypnosis on them. And then they came into Matt's event to learn marketing and they learned marketing and got their life fixed. It was just amazing watching how fast Karl was turning everyone around. So
there was
you're amazing.
She contacted us on Friday after that event, this Friday, and she says, "Do you know, Karl, I'm sleeping." I went, "What's the fucking problem?" She hadn't been sleeping, and she goes, "I can't believe you did it in 25 minutes while stood in a bar." And I went, "Yeah, because I'm not a bloody counsellor or CBT. Oh, he's done it again." Anyway, but the thing is that I'll shut up. I'm not donkey out of Shrek. The problem's not talking; it's shutting him up.
Karl, I love you so much. Thank you for being here for us. I can't wait to see you again. We've got to organise something. Actually, we've already been looking for our next venue for our next Members Day, which, we're praying that all this is going to be over by the end of June. I think it's around the 20th of June. And I found a castle last night down in Devon for us to have our next event. So, looking forward to doing great stuff together. Guys and girls, do make sure you connect with Karl. He's like the funniest person I think I've met in my life who just is so real, so raw, and just tells it like it is. But you know what, I fucking love people that do that. I don't want people dancing around and being fluffy with me. I don't want people being rude to me, but I do want people to tell me like it is and how it is. And you do exactly that. And I think that's one of the reasons that you've been so successful, is that you've just made that decision about who you are. You're not going to take shit, but you're going to be graceful with the way that you deliver your business. And that is why you're a success, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us.
Work from there.
Yeah, work from there. Think from there too. And believe in that. Believe your guts, because your
Yeah.
gut will follow you wherever you're meant to be going. My friends, it is time to end the show. Have an amazing, amazing evening, day, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We are sending you loads and loads of love. We will be back tomorrow live at 5 with another extraordinary entrepreneur. You know, keep joining us, keep getting the inspiration, keep getting the motivation, and keep getting the acceleration. We can do this bit, but you've got to go and do it. So take care, and we will see you in the group. Mwah. Thanks, Karl.
Bye bye, folks.
Thank you.